This was the moment that an anxious South Africa had been hoping for. The massive political breakthrough that would fully legitimize the elections and diminish the violence. The entry of the Zulu Inkatha Freedom Party into the political process. The Zulu Chief Minister, Mangosuthu Buthelezi, sealed the deal with his political rivals, President F.W. de Klerk and ANC President Nelson Mandela. It came after 2 days of intensive meetings at the capital of Pretoria. Inkatha will now participate fully in the April 27 elections, a reversal of its rejectionist stand that had thrown the election campaign into violence and turmoil.
The Inkatha Freedom Party has decided to make the kind of compromise which will make its entry into elections possible in order to avoid a great deal more bloodshed and carnage which we have been witness to.
This agreement, I believe, removes one of the last main causes for tension and violence in the Republic of South Africa.
This agreement is a leap forward for peace, reconciliation, nation building, and an inclusive election process.
The victory of the peace process was a reverse for the holdout Buthelezi, who had previously warned South Africans of a possible civil war if his demands for constitutional changes were not met. Inkatha's change of heart created major problems for the Independent Electoral Commission that is running the elections. It has to print new Inkatha party stickers to put on the millions of already printed voting ballots so that the three principles are represented. It needs to add additional polling stations and personnel.
They know it's not the best. They've accepted it as good enough for the three of them.
But as the political leadership talked solidarity, factional violence continued in Takosa Township outside Johannesburg, where a news photographer was killed Monday. ANC supporters tried to storm a hostel used by Inkatha followers, and in the exchange of fire, at least one person was wounded. The South African Defense Forces rode into the rescue, to the evident relief of the residents. With South Africa's political leaders finally unified, what is still to be determined is if their message of peace and reconciliation influences their warring supporters on the streets. In the financial center of Johannesburg, that a few days ago had looked like an armed camp, there was a relaxed air as barbed wire barricades were removed from important buildings. Fears that militant Zulus would march on the city were lifted with Inkatha's entry into the political process. Residents bought newspapers that headlined the political breakthrough, one editorial calling it a miracle. Residents seemed to be delighted with developments.
Well, it's fair and everybody goes and take part in it, you see. And it is for everybody's benefit.
You got to vote, listen to the reply. You got to vote.
Voter education with a distinctively contemporary style proceeded with a sense of urgency. The election is only 1 week away.
Yo, power to the people and pump it up.
This performing group, financed by American businesses, has devoted the past 9 months to teaching electoral procedure.
We do receive quite a lot of feedback from people that say that it definitely changed them. A lot of people didn't understand, what voting was all about and how important education is.
Officials have resolved how to alter the voting ballots to accommodate the Inkatha party's candidates. A sticker will be affixed to the original ballots with the Inkatha name, but this will require a considerable extra effort to ensure a fair election.
I think the benefit to our society and our country far outweighs the millions that will invest in this enterprise.
They answered the call to launch Inkatha's election campaign in their thousands. Zulu power on the march, massing in tribal regiments for the start of their first major rally. With less than a week before South Africa's historic vote, the people of Ulundi were in a mood to celebrate, congratulating their leaders on striking a hard bargain with the government and ANC, opening the way for Inkatha's entry into the election battle. The deal fell way short of their political demands for a federal state, although no one joining the throngs of party supporters thought so.
Our leader at last,
has managed to bring South Africa to a stage where we can say now justice has been done to the Zulus.
The perfect cue for a theatrical entrance by the man many believe is leading his tribal loyalists to a heavy defeat in next week's voting. Mangosuthu Buthelezi seems to thrive on drama. First, the electoral cliffhanger, now a dash to the ballot box, an impromptu class in voter education, providing some of the day's entertainment. The deal with his opponents, though, was clearly hard to swallow.
No sane politician would agree to participate when one is only 6 or 7 days before for electioneering. So, I mean, I only signed the agreement in the interest of the country.
And the major interest of South Africa is preventing bloodshed in a country where illegal weapons are beyond the control of government.
How are you? Are you all right?
As the campaign nears its climax, a few more days for Nelson Mandela to garner votes and to lend an ear to problems on the ground.
Oh, bad on you, man.
About to be realized, the promise of a democratic, non-racial South Africa.
Shake hands, and I know you are very busy.
And in the tiny Eastern Cape town of Humansdorp, the excitement is tangible. A vigorous welcome for Nelson Mandela and for the ANC's regional leader, Raymond Mhlaba, another man who spent the apartheid years in prison.
2 decades ago, you and Raymond Mhlaba were sitting in a prison cell on Robben Island. Did you ever think then that you would be a week away from taking over the government of this country?
Well, Raymond told me, even as we were in Robben Island, that we were already in power. The belief, therefore, was not just that we will return one day, but it was always the fact that we are in the forefront of this battle.
50 miles away, the township of KwaNobuhle, and the graves of hundreds who died in the forefront of the struggle. 9 years ago, a mass political funeral in KwaNobuhle. 29 people killed in a single clash with the police of the White Republic. Just some of the thousands of people in the Eastern Cape who died in the struggle for freedom. Johnson Anthony dug many of the graves for victims of political conflict, and he hopes that the man he'll vote for next week will ensure that he'll not dig anymore.
Mandela must go through for this because we are suffering for a long time. Even today, we are suffering too much. Now, maybe God can help us to come through this vote.
Viva, viva Mandela, viva, viva Mandela, viva.
The Eastern Cape is ANC territory, the one part of the country in which the victor is certain.
Africa! One day closer to the election, one step nearer the opportunity to vote. Not only for Nelson Mandela, but for the millions of faceless people who form his constituency and who shared his struggle.
The people of the Eastern Cape fought long and hard to see their leaders free, and underlying the knowledge of imminent victory, the memory of those who did not live to see it.